Good morning, everyone. You know, it's so funny. I feel like I live on a different planet sometimes coming from Glendale because the weather is so strange up there right now. It is blowing like 50, 60 miles an hour, and it blew all night long, and there's sirens going everywhere, and trees are down, and you come here, and it's warmer here, it's calm, and I'm like, good Lord, what a difference. But so, good morning. Today, I have a couple things that I wanted to share, and my talk topic is creating good habits. But I'm going to digress from that a lot because I thought, well, I don't know if that's exactly the title, but you know, they say, don't ever let a talk title get in the way of your talk. And that's true. I thought, you know, this past weekend, I don't know if any of you like horse races, but this past weekend there were big horse races. It was called the Breeders' Cup. And there were all kinds of races all day Friday and all day Saturday. And it's horses from all over the world that compete. So it's like the Olympics for horses. And there's all kinds of things that go on, but there's one particular one. In fact, I showed Dr. Moira and Reverend Kathy. I said, you guys got to see this. Because there was a race, and it was, I think it was the Dirt Mile is what it was. And there's a real famous horse that's in the race, and his name is Cody's Wish. You might have heard about it on the news, but what it is that 5 years ago, there's a family. I don't actually know their name, but I know the name of the boy, and the boy's name is Cody. And his parents took him to this stable where they're raising racehorses to see the racehorses. And I don't know how he's involved with the horse, but he is involved with the horse, the dad is. And the boy was born with a congenital disease, and he was paralyzed from the neck down. And he couldn't speak or anything. And it winds up that this year he was 18 years old. And I saw different things online where they showed that he got to go to his prom and different things, but he's completely debilitated. Well, at any rate, 5 years ago, when his parents brought him to this stable, they had, I think it was through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, they brought the horses out, and there was one horse that was a yearling, so he's only a year old, and they're always nervous about the racehorses when they're a year old because they're wild, you know, and they're feeling their oats for sure, and they're running around. Well, what happened was the yearling saw Cody, the boy, and when he's in a wheelchair and he cannot move, and the horse saw him and was like eyeballing him. So they were worried because the horse was walking up like, like this, to the kid. And they said the trainers were on the side, like ready to pull the horse away if anything was going to happen. And the horse went up, and they have some video of it where the horse was like sniffing his knees and looking at him. And the next thing you know, the horse lays his head down in the boy's lap and just stays with them. And I have goosebumps. Every time I tell that story, I get goosebumps. So the boy could move his hand, and I know he pet the horse, but I don't know if there was much more than that. But at any rate, the stable wound up naming the horse Cody's Wish, because it was, Make-A-Wish Foundation, and so he named him Cody's Wish. So what happened was Dad took Cody and the whole family every time the horse would run. And the horse would always check in with the little boy before he ran. And so about a year ago, Cody wrote the horse a love letter. Thank you for winning all these races for me. And, you mean so much to me, like it really helped the kid, feel alive and feel bolstered. And I don't know about you, but some of us, maybe in your life you've had something that made you step it up because something inspired you. So this inspired this boy. So he wins this one race, and he wasn't expected to win. I think he lost one of the races, but he lost by like a nose. So this time he's up against the creme de la creme, and there's a horse out in the lead that's considered like one of the favorites. But the real favorite in the audience is this Cody's Wish. Everybody wants this horse to win for this boy. So what happens is they come down to the wire, And he literally wins by a nose. He won by about that much, they said. Just like he just put his little face out and he won by that much. And the announcer's saying, because he came from the end. He was at the end, and it was not looking good because he was way in the back. And he was like, and around the bend, here he comes. And he's like, and it's Cody's wish. And the guy goes, there's not a dry eye in the house. And everybody's bawling. Everybody's bawling. So they bring the horse up, there's a big event, and they put the flowers on him and stuff. And after they took the saddle off and everything, the horse came over to the boy again. And the boy raises his hand to salute the horse. So that's the happy part of it. The sad part of it is that on Monday, the boy died. And I'm like, oh man, what a sad, and they were retiring the horse after this race to go to stud to make a bunch of baby Cody's wishes. So the boy knew that. And so he passed away, they said, on the flight home to Kentucky when they were going home to Kentucky. And it was really sad. He was 18 years old, but the father said, you know what? There's a couple things he said. The doctor said he wasn't supposed to live beyond age 2, and he was 18. And they also said that Cody knew, the horse has made it to the pinnacle, and now he gets to go play and have babies and be well taken care of the rest of his life. So it was almost like he could, he rested. And I thought, okay, I'm going to just bless it and know that this boy is released from that body that was restrictive to him. But his spirit soared all the time when he watched that race and when he watched that horse. And so I thought, how can we use that as an example for ourselves? What are things that happen in your life where, there may be something that inspires you, and then all of a sudden you see a setback, and you're like, but how am I supposed to see positive in the setback? And as always, Ruth, you'll be happy to know that I wrote notes as I was driving, and I had a great opportunity today, let me tell you. That sanctuary of the 110 freeway was definitely a sanctuary, and I kept forgetting, going, get back on point, Mary. Because I'd be like, what do you do? Okay, stop, be calm, zen out. And we always get an opportunity to catch ourselves, don't we? We always do. But so I have a million notes, but one of them also was that I don't know about you, but sometimes I forget that all the forces of the universe are for me. Anybody else ever forget that? Sometimes, you wake up in the morning and you get an opportunity to be your great self. But sometimes, I read my daily word, I do my meditation, I do my prayer stuff, and then all of a sudden, my mind starts to go to, oh yeah, I got to deal with that today. Oh yeah, that was a problem. And I start to go to some problems, right? And it can take you down that rabbit hole where all of a sudden your energy will shift. And I'm like, gosh, wait a second. I just did all that beautiful prayer work. I centered myself. I loved on my cat and had great things happening. And now I'm going to, I got to do this, and this, and this. And I think it's like I forget we don't have to do it by ourselves. I forget that the universe is always for us and always conspiring for us. However, we have to let it in. So we have to, if we're ever feeling like, I don't know about you, but if you're going along and you've got a million things to do, especially right now, it's coming up holiday, people are already lining up parties, and we got all this stuff going on, and everything's happening, and it's sometimes you can feel depleted. But the idea is, don't allow that depletion to determine your future. Because every time there's something going on, we get the opportunity to shift it into something good. But sometimes we forget we're dealing with a circumstance, and we say, but how am I supposed to deal with this negative situation and feel positive about it? It's like, guess what? The negative situations always occur because of our thinking. And we forget that our thinking put us in that vibrational pattern to attract that. So guess what? We thought our way into it. We can think our way out of it. And it's important to remember that. And this teaching reminds us there are principles in the universe that are supporting us. I have a quote in here somewhere in my 10,000 pages that I wrote. It's here somewhere. It's a little Ernest Holmes quote. Come on, Ernest, where are you? He's in here somewhere. Ernest Holmes says, our purpose the purpose of our consciousness is so steeped in understanding. We want to create a consciousness that's so steeped in understanding that we can divert ourselves from feeling in a negative space. Even when negative stuff is going on, we can shift the perspective and shift it into something that's going on that could be positive. So the idea is, how do we do that? So say you see yourself spiraling down a negative thing and you're feeling negative about a situation. Anybody else ever feel negative about a situation? Or you see that person, you go, oh God, here comes Harriet again, uh-oh. Or whoever, and you go, oh man. Guess what? We have the power to know above that. But it's a matter of stopping ourselves from making that old decision, that old bad habit, and creating a new idea. I heard this the other day, that, and that's another thing I don't know, a habit. First you have a habit, and then a habit has you. First you have a habit, and then a habit has you, because it's like doing the same old thing. I was listening to a story on internet the other day, and the gal was talking about, it was so simple, it was great, and I thought, oh my gosh, we do that, don't we? She was saying, you know, every day I get up and I put my makeup on, and she said, and I have this makeup brush, and she said, and I don't like the makeup brush. It's really scratchy when I put it on my face, but it's the brush I've used all along, so I keep using it because it's the brush I use. But she said, but it's scratchy. So she said when she went on a trip, she forgot the scratchy brush. And she had to buy a nice brush. And she brought a nice soft brush. And she's like, oh, this is so much better. And then when she went home, she went back to her scratchy brush again. And I thought, well, how silly. But we do that, don't we? We go to the scratchy brush. I don't know what it is. I thought, oh boy, there's a story for everything, because we do stuff like that, don't we? We go back to our old habit because it's the same old, and we're comfortable with it. And sometimes when we want things to be different, we have to be willing to let that go. I also read a story about a gal that founded, and I guess she was on Shark Tank, and I did not know that, but her name is Yoona Kim. And in 2016, she was an investment banker, and she was completely stressed out and flipping out about all the things that she had to do. So she created an app, a meditation app called Simple Habit. And what she did was, I'll tell you, she built, it was a startup job. She was desperate to manage her extreme stress. And after 2016, she discovered the benefits of meditation and mindfulness in her own life and created this app. And I guess she went on Shark Tank and somebody supported her. But I thought, you know, there she was in a pickle about something and decided to create a solution. And not only that, she thought, you know, if I'm going through this, then other people may be going through this as well. So I'll create something that will work for all of us. And that, I thought it was so wonderful because she thought outside of the box. And that's, I think, what it's requiring of us when we're in a habit of doing something. You know, it may be driving a particular way to work, or it may be eating particular food on, you know, going to this particular restaurant and, you know, maybe adventuring out and going somewhere different, or getting together with people that you don't know. Now, if you find yourself saying, I was writing these this morning, I said, if you find yourself saying things like, I don't want to just tolerate my life anymore, or I'm way too busy, I can't do this, or I'm worried about this, or I want more joy in my life and I don't know how to make it happen. It all comes back to self-care. It all comes back to, what things am I doing that's precipitating the stuff that makes me uncomfortable? And then we could say, oh, you know what, if only that person wasn't in my life, then my life would be so much happier. Well, that person is in your life because you called them in. Right? And it's not like, you bad person, you. It's, guess what? You called that negativity in so that you could heal whatever inside of you that feels broken so you can move on beyond it. That's all they're there for. And the moment you get that, it goes away. Anybody ever resolve any troubles in their life? Yeah, we resolve troubles all the time. And so all you do is, guess what? You already know the formula. I already know the formula, and I think, why did I create that. I mean, sometimes you sit back and go, I can remember when I first, this is totally unrehearsed, so it's going to be, you know where it's going to go. I have no idea. When it was during COVID and I was working at home, I went into the office like 2 days a week, and then my assistant was there. She wanted to be there because she felt like she was away from everybody. She didn't want anybody to come into the office, and it was just she and I in the office. So in the meantime, I'm looking on, you know that app Nextdoor, and it tells you what's going on in the neighborhood? I was looking at that, and this gal was putting a little cat up for adoption. And she said, I'm desperate here, and a lot of the adoption places are closed, so if I don't adopt him out this week, he's going to this place, and it was a kill facility. And I read that, and I just started bawling. I was like, oh my God, we can't let this little guy go. And I'm calling everybody going, do you need a cat? There's this little cat, and he's going, no, nobody needs a cat. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Maybe I need a cat. I had a girl cat, Zoe, and my boy cat had died a couple years prior, and Zoe was like forlorn without her boyfriend Merlin. So I thought, maybe Zoe needs a cat. And maybe if I bring in a little baby cat, Zoe can impart her wisdom into the baby cat, right? So you have all these good intentions. You ever think about that? You create a situation, you've got great intentions. Well, I bring this little cat home, and he's adorable, but he's a frickin' terror, okay? He is like a terror. And so my IT people and my staff is calling it, the cat's like tearing around the house. I'm like, what have I brought into my experience? And I thought, after a while, I thought, it's interesting, that cat is mirroring my vibration. That's what's going on. And I thought, oh, I sure don't like that. I didn't like hearing that, but I thought, I've got to pay attention to that. What is he? So I was doing more meditation. I was calming down. He eventually calmed down. Now he's pretty calmed down. He's pretty calmed down. He's got a big personality. But the thing is that when the things show up in our life and we don't like it, just ask, what is it that it's trying to show me and tell me about myself that either needs to be healed, or I need to move on, or I need to acknowledge it, or whatever. Does that make sense? You know, that sometimes things, we don't realize that everything is mirroring back to us what's going on with our own experience. And then we forget, oh my gosh, I can get out ahead of this. I can start the day and determine all great and good things are going to be attracted to me. I'm attracting abundance of all kinds, of health of all kinds, creativity, everything. I'm attracting it right now. And I'm not going to see grumpy people out there. I'm going to see really happy people out there. I think at first I forgot to say that about the traffic this morning. At first, traffic was great, and then there was a big crash downtown, so that like set everything up, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to say. And so I'm like, oh wait, go back in, you bless your car, bless the road, bless that guy that's ticking you off because he's been sitting in the fast lane too long, bless him. Boom, everything opened up again. I went, it is that simple sometimes. Sometimes it's about really getting into that flow and understanding it. I wrote a couple things. Genevieve Barand was a student of Thomas Troward, and Thomas Troward was the #1 guy that inspired and influenced Ernest Holmes. In fact, if you read Troward, a lot of times you'll read Troward, and there'll be a quote that it's been in the Science of Mind book. So he kind of rephrases the same things that Thomas Troward had. But Genevieve Barand said, what I wish in particular to convey to you with these pages, it was a book I was reading, is the scientific right thinking, and to awaken you to the desire to try to use this method in order to form a habit of thinking only thoughts which you wish to see crystallized in a worthy achievement or result. Only think thoughts that are going to bring in the prosperity, the abundance, the creativity, the joy. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of times, I don't know about you, but I got a laundry list of things I got to do and get through and we got this trouble going on. How am I going to fix that? And I forget sometimes Again, we're activating the power and the forces of the universe that's always there to support us, but we have to activate them. We have to get in that flow of it. So the moment that we do, it shifts into supporting what it is that we do want. So many times, I don't know about you, but I go to God and say, oh, I need to fix this. And I think I need to do it on my own sometimes. Like, oh, no. Sometimes it's about just get into a simple habit of meditating and saying, I'm knowing this divine answer is coming to me. And it may not happen right away, but the moment that you clear yourself, you'll be present to this energy that is going to support you in everything that you want to do. It's a matter of keeping your mind on track, keeping your energy on track, keeping your life filled with people that you love and that love you, and just going with that idea. I love billboard signs, and yesterday there was a billboard, and it's, what's his name? The guy from Star Trek? William Shatner. And it's like, going beyond where no man has gone before. I'm like, yes, okay, change your thought, Mary, because I was driving to go see a friend and I knew she was crabby and I thought, uh-oh, change your thought. So guess what? I just said, no, I'm gonna see it as all harmonized, all perfectly working out well. And guess what? It happened. It happened. It was all peaceful. So it's about remembering that there is a universe that supports us. But it supports us according to the energy that we put out, according to the thoughts that we put out, according to the feelings that we put out. And the moment that we adjust our feeling, even if we're stuck, sometimes if you're stuck in something and you go, yeah, I get it. I'm supposed to feel good. I'm supposed to feel good about my bad plumbing. I'm supposed to feel good about a tree falling down in my neighborhood. No. But what you're going to do is say, you know what? Even though that's happened, something good's going to come out of this right now. And believe in that and set your thought that way, and that's where the energy will flow, right? It's like energy flows where thoughts go. So that's where it will go. So it's a matter of, you know what? Create the habits that support the life that you want. And another big part, we'll do a little guided meditation about it. It's about dream big. When was yesterday? I went to a site, and it was it was advertising 10 greatest places to go in the world for a vacation. And this one place, I don't even know where it was. I couldn't even say the name of the island or whatever, wherever. I'm like, I don't even know where that is. I clicked on it, and all you hear are the ocean waves and these beautiful, huts are on stilts in the water, and the waves, this beautiful turquoise blue ocean, are coming under, and they have this meditation area, and then they show one of the persons getting a massage, and they're putting the hot stones on the person's back. And so I went back and I said, I'm going to dial into that, and I pretended like someone was putting hot stones on my back. Now, to some of you that may not sound enticing, but for me it felt great at the moment. But I thought, you know what? It was like a mini oasis, and I thought, it takes your mind to go to this place of peace. And in that place of peace, you can create this new energy. So sometimes it's a matter of, take a 7-minute break on simple habits for a meditation, or go look at a video about a beautiful place to visit, or go out and listen to a bird sing. My birdies are back, and they're making a little home in the birdhouse I have outside my bedroom window, and I sat there enthralled watching them for 15 minutes going, wow, this is so cool. It's things like that that get you back, you get out ahead of whatever trouble you're having. And then all of a sudden, nothing seems so tough anymore, because you go, oh, that's right. The universe has it. And like my lovely friend, Reverend Martha, always says, God, you do it. Reverend Martha always said, God, you do it. And when you say, God, you do it, you surrender it over. And when you surrender it over, it doesn't mean you stop doing something, but it means that you know that God's got your back. You know that the universe is really supporting that energy that you're putting out there, whatever it is. So make sure that it's good. And that's our message for today. Okay, thank you.